Welcome to Conversations, where style meets substance. I'm your host, Kimberly Miller. Today's conversation is not just inspirational, it's necessary because at some point in life, we all have to confront what's really coming out of us. Not just what we say we believe, not what we post, not what we pretend is fine, but what actually flows out of us when life presses on us. That means what's in you will eventually come out of you. Not might, not maybe, it will. So today we're talking about healing because unhealed pain doesn't stay hidden. It leaks and it spills. And sometimes it shows up in places and people that had nothing to do with where the pain started. Let's be honest, life has a way of wounding people. I'm a witness to this because I've been wounded. Some wounds come from relationships that broke your trust. Some come from things people say that you can't unhear. And some come from seasons where you had to be strong when everything was falling apart. And what happens if we don't take time to process and heal? We start functioning out of the overflow. When the heart is full of pain, the mouth eventually speaks pain. When the heart is full of fear, the mouth will speak doubt. When the heart is full of bitterness, the heart will speak criticism. When the heart is full of rejection, everything starts sounding like offense, even when it's not. And here's a statement that we all have heard before, and let's keep it real, it's so true. If you don't heal, you will bleed on people who didn't even cut you. And that's just not a catchy phrase, it's a spiritual one. Because unhealed people don't just feel pain, they project it. You can walk into a new season, but still react like you're in an old one. You can meet new people, but still expect them to hurt you like the last ones did. You can be in a safe place and still operate like you're under attack. And the truth is, people around you didn't even cause the wound that you're projecting upon them. I often say that the heart is a storage place for your inner world. What you don't process, you store. So disappointment becomes suspicion, unforgiveness becomes distance, trauma becomes triggers, and eventually those triggers run over into your responses. That's why sometimes your reaction is bigger than the situation because you're not just responding to what's happening, you're reacting to what has happened in the past. But the people in front of you didn't even cause the original wound. They just touched the place that was already hurting. And that's why healing becomes so essential, not optional. Because without healing, you start confusing protection with peace. You start calling guardedness with wisdom. And you start believing that distance is the same thing as discernment. So the real question isn't, what did they do to me? The real question is, what is still in me because of what happened to me? When you don't heal, you don't just suffer privately. You affect everything around you. You can love people and still hurt them. You can care and still cut them. You can mean well and still respond from a wounded place. Because pain that is not processed becomes your personality. And that's where relationships get complicated because people aren't always reacting to you. They're reacting to what your pain is producing. So healing isn't just about feeling better. It's about becoming safe again. Safe for yourself, safe for others, safe in your responses, and safe in your emotions. Healing, let me tell you, is not instant, but it is intentional. And one of the hardest truths is this: you can't pray away what you refuse to process. That means sometimes healing looks like having honest conversations you've avoided, sitting with emotions you've buried, forgiving people who never apologize, and letting God rewire your responses. Because the goal is not just to stop bleeding on others, it's to stop bleeding internally. A healed heart produces a different type of overflow. Instead of bitterness, it produces grace. Instead of suspicion, it produces discernment. Instead of offense, it produces peace. Instead of reaction, it produces wisdom. So as we close today, I want to leave this truth with you. You are not stuck being a product of what hurt you. Yes, it shaped you. Yes, it affected you, but it does not have to define you. When you heal, you stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you. And more than that, you start speaking life from a place that used to speak pain. So today, take a moment and ask yourself honestly, what is my heart full of right now? And what has it been producing in my life, my relationships, and even my words? Because whatever is in your heart will come out of your mouth. But the good news is God is still in the business of healing hearts. And healed hearts produce healed lives. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Conversations. If this message spoke to you, please share it with someone else who could use the benefit of healing. Until next time, keep trusting, keep believing, and keep the conversations going.